Now, at least 17 people have been killed by security forces during pro-independence demonstrations across the English-speaking regions of Cameroon. According to the Amnesty International, the victims died across the southwest economic hub of Douala and Buea. Security forces maintained a tight grip on the region, with highways remained blocked and streets being heavily patrolled. The clashes erupted after Anglophones held protests on the anniversary of the unification of the British and French territories in the western central country. The protesters demanded independence for decades of economic inequality and social injustice. Since November, the Anglophone minority in Cameroon has been protesting against perceived marginalization by the Francophone-dominated government. Joining us via Skype from Leesburg is Douglas Diggood. He's with the Executive Intelligence Review. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Mr. Diggood. Now, how legitimate are the concerns and demands of the Anglophone population there in Cameroon?
Well, they've had a gripe for a long time. This is 56 years now since the unification of the East and the West of Cameroon. However, you could also find probably the same percentage in East Cameroon in the French-speaking zone having the same kinds of gripes about lack of development and so on. So this is an attempt to better their situation. You have to realize much of the oil that Cameroon has is off of the West Cameroon, the English-speaking part. But this is not a solution that's gonna work out. You need some kind of probably decentralization to allow a little more autonomy in the regions. But the primary thing that's needed is very escalated and rapid development, economic development, providing jobs and so on for both sides of Cameroon, the English West and the French-speaking East. This is the real solution. However, you run into a problem there because of the French influence in East Cameroon, who are because Cameroon could link up with say the BRICS nations and really start an industrialization drive. However, the French are not happy with this kind of development, of course, because what they call France-Afrique has tremendous influence in the former French, their former colonies in the French-speaking areas, and do not like the competition from Brazil and China and so on in their what they consider their backyard, their area of traditional influence. So that's where the real conflict comes.
Right, but Mr. Diggood, other than just economic development, won't you agree that the region also needs social cohesion and inclusion so that the Anglophones do feel part and parcel of Cameroon? Yes,
and the way to do that is to have a lot of developments so that both sides collaborate on developing both parts of Cameroon. You need a lot of economic development, building of infrastructure, very important infrastructure, industries, factories, and things, and so that there's employment for people on both sides. And then they realize they have a common goal, which is a higher level goal than splitting off. I mean, there's a similar situation developing in southeast Nigeria now in the old former Biafra area. And it's, again, not a solution. There's a lot of poverty there, but it's not going to solve the situation to balkanize these already small countries.
All right, let's leave it there for now. That's Douglas Diggood with the Executive Intelligence Review, joining us via Skype from Leesburg. Mr. Diggood, it's always great having you with us here on Press TV.